Okay, Daire, thanks for joining us today. First of all, would you like to give the listeners just a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah. So my name's Daire McCarthy. I'm from Galway in Ireland, and I'm playing here in Charlotte, in UNC Charlotte at the moment. I was playing with Galway, and then I was on loan at Kerry for the last year before I came. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so growing up in Galway, who did you play for?
I played just for my local team at Daire,
Okay,
and then played there until I was about 13, maybe 14,
okay,
and then moved to at loan back to Galway. Then went up to Sligo a small bit,
okay.
and then came back to Galway then when I was in college in UIG.
So you stayed at home in Ireland for that year,
Yeah.
playing for Kerry while going to NUIG in Galway.
Yeah.
So first of all, what did you study in NUIG?
So I studied commerce in UIG,
Okay.
just like regular business.
Okay, how did you find it?
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't the worst. You had a small amount of lectures, so it wasn't too bad. Like you could miss a few, but it was tricky trying to balance because I used to train with Galway in the mornings.
Okay,
So I used to train with Galway Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, and I used to travel to Kerry on a Thursday evening. Stay down and play on Friday. So you're missing a lot of
okay,
lectures and stuff. You're playing catch up nearly all the time.
really? Okay,
So eventually, after a while, I got sick of doing this. Being in the library at 9 o'clock at night.
okay,
So I had enough of that then. So I think maybe something needs to change.
okay. And playing for, so that was what was the typical like day in the life then?
Usually, so we used to train early in the morning in Galway. On Monday, we used to be in for like 8 o'clock in the morning in
Okay.
Salthill. So I used to leave home at like 7:15.
Okay,
Just drive in, whatever, do our training around 10 to 12. Then you train gym 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then if you have lectures in the afternoon, I used to go then that time. Or else I used to just go to the library and do some stuff.
okay.
Do whatever I needed to do to catch up on the morning stuff or whatever.
Okay, and then when you were down in Kerry, then what did it look like, kind of study wise?
Study wise, so a lot of times I used to take one of the guys from MTU's ID card
Oh, right.
and
Okay.
run in and go to the library in there. probably not meant to say that, but I used to go in sometimes there and just
Okay.
go in there and study in the mornings before games and stuff.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
It was ideal. It helped out a small bit anyways.
Okay. So then you're coming up towards, so what would have been the end of your school year, your first year, and you're about 3/4 the way through the League of Ireland season?
Yeah, about so what we would have been maybe May time,
Yeah.
April, May time.
Right. So around that time you decided you wanted to change. So
Yeah.
what was going through your head at that stage?
Yeah, so that stage it was looking like I might not go back to college.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe I won't go back and just go straight to soccer because it was really hard to balance the two,
Okay.
especially when you're playing like you're expected to be a professional every day and
Yeah.
expected to like do really really good,
Mhm.
even when it's like it's tough to do it, especially
Mhm.
when you're young and you're trying to get the college degree as well.
Yeah.
But at that stage I was like, okay, maybe I'll put college on the back foot for a while and then
Okay.
focus on soccer. But when you see players that come from colleges in America and they go on and do really really well and they still have a degree in their back pocket as well,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, maybe this is kind of a no-brainer then, like.
Okay. So at what stage did you kind of think, right, I'm off to the US?
Maybe after couple of weeks after my summer exams, maybe
Okay.
at NUIG, so maybe around May time.
Okay.
So I was just thinking like, okay, this is tough. I'm gonna have a look at it now, but it's tough to do both.
Okay.
So I was looking at, okay, maybe do I go full time in Kerry? Do I go full time in Galway, or do I pack up the soccer and go to college all the time, or do I go to America and try to do both?
Okay.
And then I kind of spoke to my family maybe in June time, I'd say. It was definitely after May, so maybe
Okay.
June time. And then I spoke with mum and dad and they were like, okay, what do you want to do? We still want you to get a degree, but if you want to play soccer completely, you can do that.
Okay.
And then I did that. I kind of did that with mum and dad and they were like, okay, do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. They were supportive of it. And yeah, around June, I think, was when the time, kind of
Okay.
end of June, maybe start of July.
And okay, so it's end of June, and then you made the decision that you wanted to go to the US
Yeah.
with the season starting in August.
Yeah,
So it's tight turnaround.
Yeah, so by the time I made the decision, it was probably July.
Yeah.
Full decision, probably July.
Yeah.
And then ended up being being in the US by the first week of August. It was a quick
A
turnaround.
few weeks. Yeah. You were at Sligo, and then you went to Galway.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you first hear of coming over to the United States on a scholarship? When did that kind of first cross your mind?
So it first crossed my mind when I was in I was in TY, and a
Okay.
man came and told us about the US and stuff like
Okay.
that. So I was doing a soccer course in Dublin for a year, run by the FAI, and he came and visited us and showed us about the US, and I was like, oh, that could be an option. And never really thought anything about it
Okay.
for maybe a year or two, and then one of my teachers in school, my geography teacher, was a runner for I think Providence or Northwestern.
Okay.
And then she was like, oh, you should go, whatever. And then she emailed me on.
Okay, so in 6th year, you're kind of deciding between coming to America or going to college in Ireland. College in Ireland, what were you looking at? What options were you thinking?
So I looked at the obvious ones like NUIG, where I ended up going.
Okay.
Like I looked at Sligo when I was there.
Okay.
I ended up small bit of UCD as well.
UCD,
Because
okay.
obviously they've ties with League of Ireland and stuff.
Nice.
And I ended up choosing NUIG because they had, well, I suppose it was close to home first of all.
Okay.
And then like my family all went to NUIG, and I knew a lot of the guys at NUIG anyway, so it kind of suited all parties really.
Nice, and that would have meant you living at home, kind of going back and forth to university.
Yeah, so I lived at home for the first year of university.
Okay.
Or for my only year in Ireland, sorry.
Okay.
And then I used to just commute in and out to Dangan every day.
Okay. So before that, when you were in 6th year, then you had the opportunity to go to the United States. You had a big scholarship offer to a very top Division 1 side. You ended up turning that down to do what you ended up doing in Galway.
Yeah.
So what was your kind of thinking at the time behind that decision?
I suppose it's kind of maybe a bit I wanted to prove to myself that I could play in the League of Ireland.
Okay.
Because when you've been playing there for so long, you're like, the whole road is like leading to that.
Okay.
So it's like I really wanted to go and play that for a while. And then obviously I wanted to play with my friends as well first, spend more time with my friends. And I had like a lot of stuff going on at home. My family was there, so it was ideal. Like, so it just suited me at the time, and maybe it worked out. It probably worked out better in the end that I stayed for the year and the extra year done.
Okay.
Before coming over, but I don't know. I think I might maybe give me a chance to mature as well.
Okay.
Especially that's probably the main thing, because I think when you're so far away from home and you're so young, it's kind of hard. It can be trickier when you're younger.
Definitely. Okay, so you finished up your semester at NUIG, and then UNC Charlotte came knocking. So talking through that process.
Yeah, so I've been kind of going through the usual thing that some foreign athletes do when they come home. They speak to who they can to try and get over and set them up with calls or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I suppose kind of later on in the thing, when we were around maybe June, July, UNC Charlotte said they were kind of interested, and then Shane Carew came over to watch one of my games. And he met my family, and he was great with my family and my dad, especially my dad. My dad came down to meet him in Kerry,
Okay.
and they met up for a coffee and stuff. And he said you did really well and stuff. So yeah, my dad was sold probably before I was. So yeah, he seemed to really think it was a really good idea to go to UNC Charlotte once he spoke with Shane.
Okay.
And then Shane watched the game.
Before coming over for university, had you ever been to the United States before?
Never. My mom was the only one in our family that had been to America. My dad had never been.
All right. Okay. Where did your mom go?
Mom was in New York once or twice.
Okay. Nice. So you came over then at the beginning of August. So you came in straight into pre-season then, weren't you?
Straight into pre-season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next day, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. So there wasn't much time to recover from jet lag anyway.
Yeah. And how did you get on then coming from Irish? I suppose you're lucky you're mid-season, so you're fit, but
yeah.
How did you get on coming over just into the heat?
It was definitely a culture shock at the start.
Okay.
And especially a lot of sunburn at the start. Yeah, it was bad sunburn at the start now for certain.
What would it have been then? So August time.
August would have been about in about 30 degrees Celsius, maybe 31 degrees.
Yeah, and very humid as well. Then.
Really humid. Yeah. The humidity is the worst part.
It is.
The heat actually isn't too bad. It's just the humidity all the time, and there's no wind.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No wind at all.
Yeah.
It's definitely it definitely shocks you at the start because you can't play the same as you do in Ireland.
Yes.
Whereas like I know some teams in a lot of the first division would play a lot of a direct game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you try to play direct in 30 degrees heat, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
If you're chasing down people all the time, you're just doing doggies.
Yeah.
And players are so good they just move the ball around you really quick. So you have to be more. I suppose you have to have more of like a tactical approach maybe, and like a more tailored approach to each game. So let's say if some team plays long ball and they have a really fast winger, you have to identify that really quickly and figure out how you're going to work it and how you're going to play that game.
Right. Okay. So then the first game it was against Clemson.
Yeah.
So some started one of the best college teams in the country.
Yeah.
So myself and Adam went to watch that game.
Yeah.
So how did you find that? What was the kind of first impressions of the college game?
It was good. It was definitely like, I think when I wasn't used to it, like the heat just hit me straight away.
Okay.
In the first 10 minutes, I was like, "Whoa, this could be different ball game." But yeah, Clemson were very good.
Okay.
But like, I think we did okay. But I think what did we lose? We lost 1-0 in the end.
Yeah.
But it was a tight enough game. Like first impressions go, it definitely was a really good one.
Okay.
So it was all quality players playing. Style of football is really good from both teams, and it was like, okay, if this is what's going to be all year, I'm going to have a good year. Like this is the standard we're playing at. This is going to be really good.
Okay, so you went then played against Clemson. So that was a home game. So what did you think generally of like the facilities the longer you went into the season? What did you think of them?
Amazing.
Really?
Amazing. Yeah. It's like, even at home, like some teams don't own a training ground or don't have a huge stadium or anything. But in a lot of places you're playing on, like, the way I'd compare it to somewhere in Ireland is like you're playing on Tala Stadium basically every week, that same surface.
Okay.
Every pitch is like sprinklers. There's no muddy pitches. Yeah. It's like Tala, or I don't know, maybe we Turner's Cross every week. It's that same standard of pitch, or Inchicore maybe, wherever in St. Pat's in Richmond. It's like that every week, and then it's just obviously so much better weather, so you're not freezing when you're playing. But maybe the stands and stadiums might be to the same degree, like the whole way around the pitch, like there would be in Ireland. But the pitch, as in the surface alone, is so good. Like you nearly play snooker on it. It's so good. Like.
So in terms of settling in, then did you kind of hit the ground running? Did you take a little bit of time, or how did that work for you? Yeah, no, I think I hit the wall straight away, first of all, to be honest, and I hit the ground running. The first 2 weeks were like, oh my god, I was like, this is never going to work. Okay. I was like, what have I done? What am I thinking? And then I remember my dad just saying to me, one day it'll just click. And then one day in training, I was like, oh, it just all clicked. Yeah. And then we played, who did we play? We played, I think it was Syracuse. We played up in Syracuse, the second game of the season. And then I played well. And then I was like, okay, I've got it now. And then the next day in training played well. And then all of a sudden it just started rolling into the next thing. And then when you're starting to get into it, it's like, it's perfect, it's grand. You're grand again. Right. I think it was just more of the culture shock at the start. Like everything, you're kind of overwhelmed by everything's so big. Yes. Everything's just huge. Right. You see everything in front of you, it's like, oh my god, everything's the best of gear, the best of stadiums, best of facilities, everything. You're like, geez, this is such a shock. Yeah. It's like, I have to perform now. So you're always putting pressure on yourself. Mm-hmm. But once you get into it, I think everyone takes a week or two to get settled. And then once you get settled and you're relaxed and you figure out your friends and all that sort of stuff. And how was it in terms of making friends? Oh, good. Like I've already made some of my best friends for my life here at Charlotte, which is mad. Like I live with a guy called Elias. He's a Norwegian. Okay. But there's two of us living together, and then down the hallway you have another room of four guys who live together, and then down another hallway there's another 4 guys, and we all live in the same kind of apartment complex. And it's really nice because it brings us all together. Like we all play cards together. We all do anything together. Like anything we do, we all do together, which is really good. Brilliant. So you mentioned Daire. So Elias is from. He's from Norway. Okay. So how many nationalities do you have on your team? Oh, probably. We've won one Italian, one German, 2 Cyprians, 2 Danish, 1 Norwegian, 2 Canadians. Probably missing someone now. I'll get given out to for that. So one of your best friends? Oh, 2 Japanese. 2 Japanese and 1 Slovenian. Okay, jeez, okay. And what did you find like playing like with all these different nationalities? It's like you don't realise the different styles of players in different countries and stuff. It's like, so as I was saying, one of my best friends is Suki, probably Natsuki. Yes. He's like so different to anything you'd ever see in Ireland, because he's a small guy in like stature, but his first touch and his awareness is just so good. It's like second to none. Like. Okay. And then you have guys like some of the Danish guys or Scandinavian guys. They're big, strong, powerful guys that are well able to play and get around the pitch all day. Like you look at someone like someone Lasse maybe or Brigham, who are big, strong guys who are from there, and they're just, maybe it's in their genetics or I don't know, but they're all well built. Okay, so you said at the beginning there that it took a little bit of a while to settle in. Yeah. And then it clicked and everything started going a bit more smoothly. Yeah. So was there ever a time where you thought that maybe you hadn't made the right decision, or you were second guessing that? Yeah, definitely at the start.
when you're seeing all your friends at home and they're doing they're in college doing whatever they want to do, and you're over here just playing on your own with the guys, with your teammates. But I think when you look back, what I try to do is look back on it after a while and be like, okay, I did make the right decision, because those guys are all still in college in Ireland doing whatever they want to do, but you're working away on playing soccer, and you enjoy it. You're getting a whole new life, basically. Like, it's nothing, no comparison, a whole new lifestyle. And then once the soccer just clicks, it's like everything clicks.
Right.
So it's like your whole life is not dependent on it, but your whole life kind of revolves around it.
Yes.
And then once you've got that, it's fine.
Okay.
And then you realise it's not. If you have one bad day, it's okay. It's fine. You'll get there the next day. It's okay. And then once you just stick with it.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. Once you obviously we all have our ups and downs and our bad days, whatever, bad days, good days, whatever.
Yeah.
But even for me, the first 2 weeks I'd say I played 2 out of 10 for 2 weeks, for 2 weeks straight. Yeah. And then all of a sudden one day you make 1 or 2 good passes and you're like, okay, this is fine, this is okay. And then all of a sudden the next day you do 4, the next day you do 6, and then, oh my God, you're playing good again.
Yes.
It just happens.
Exactly. And what it will teach as well is resilience.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you'll come up against things later in your life where like it's going to be hard, but because you've come through something as big as this, like, you know yourself, you know what you can do. So yeah, it gives you a lot better chance.
Yeah,
in the
definitely.
future.
Yeah.
Okay, so you spent time at a few different League of Ireland clubs underage, and then you went on to play Kerry senior level. What would you say are the differences or similarities between the League of Ireland and coming over playing in the NCAA?
Yeah, so I suppose first off, in terms of players, the style of players is different.
Okay.
You have people from all over the world, really. So you have people who could be really good on the ball, like, just for example, the Japanese guys are so good on the ball, whereas you might have something like that in Ireland who's that good on the ball.
Okay.
But they might not be as athletic as the person from Ireland or from Scandinavia or wherever they are.
Okay.
So it's just like building your team around that, I suppose, and making everyone click together. And I think another one is the facilities. The facilities are just like so different. It's like every pitch is really good. Everything, every gym is good. Every dressing room is perfect. It's like you're living in royalty over here sometimes. Like, you're spoiled. You can't complain about anything. Okay. And then I suppose in terms of travel as well, like, you've no real crazy bus journeys. Like, I remember we went to Finn Harps a couple of times, and it's just a long trek. But most of the time here you can just fly and it's grand. So
in terms of developing as a player, do you notice any differences compared to your year in the League of Ireland compared to your few months here?
Yeah, definitely. I think you learn different styles and different tactics. Like, obviously when I was in the League of Ireland, I was used to playing maybe a 4-3-3,
okay,
direct football, fast wingers, just get the ball over the top and they run after it. But here it's kind of different, where we play maybe different shapes and different formations in terms of the games.
Okay. And
then you have to learn a lot about shape and structure, and I think it's different because I'm a midfielder myself, so it's different roles. So you're playing a lot more balls into your 10s and 9s than you would hitting diagonal over the top to a winger.
Okay.
And it just kind of depends on where you are. I'm sure some teams do different things and other teams do. Like, some teams might want to play long ball, or some teams might want to keep the ball and play out of the back all the time and just pass it around. But I think once you get a happy medium of both, you're actually not too far off the right track.
So in terms of, a little bit more was asked of you in midfield in terms of playing through the lines.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel you improved in that
area?
Definitely.
Yeah. Like, our coaches definitely helped. So, like, I was trying to learn how to play forward a lot more and play passes into a Natsuki and in a 10, or whoever was playing as a number 10 or a number 9.
Okay.
Just threading passes into them. So once you do your pro time, you get to work on an individual thing, and it gives you the chance then to kind of work away yourself and work with some other people in your position on certain bits of your game. So that definitely helped a lot. I did a good bit of that at the first when I first came here, just to get up to speed and get up to what I need to do, and then kind of just came translated over to the game then.
Brilliant. So when you first came over then, was there anything provided from the university in terms of helping you settle in? Like, was there an international centre? Were there any...
Yeah, there was an international centre on campus, just in the main building on campus. So when we need to get, for example, we need to get home now, we have to have our I-20 signed by the international office here. When we can leave the country, but when we need to come back, we have to get it signed. So we can just email them and get onto them, and sorted out for us.
Okay, did they do anything in terms of helping you? Like, because I remember at my university, they used to have like kind of a cultural awareness kind of session. So we'd come in and they'd say, like, so there'd be different nationalities, all obviously internationals, and they would talk about kind of the culture of the US, maybe the food, maybe the kind of mannerisms of the people. Was there anything like that at the university?
We have a class called UCall class. It's for people.
Okay.
It's like a part of our schedule of classes,
Okay.
and it's for students who've either transferred or have just started college in Charlotte.
Okay.
And it basically shows you like how to your basics, how to do an essay, how to do this, what it's like in the US. If you need help with this, go to this person. If you need help with this, go to the next person.
Okay.
That helped a lot, especially at the start, anyways, when you could have been looking around like starry eyed, looking for somewhere to turn to, when you didn't know what to do. But that definitely helped a lot.
Okay, brilliant. You got so. Tell me about the flying then. So you went from those coming to America. Where did you have to fly to this season? Do you remember?
So we flew. Where did we fly to? We flew from Charlotte to upstate New York. Was probably one of the first ones.
That's a long enough flight as well.
That's not too bad. It's maybe 2 hours, 2.5, up to play against Syracuse.
Okay.
That was really nice, and their pitch was really good.
Yeah.
It was like an Irish pitch. It was like the same type of grass, everything.
Oh, brilliant.
Because sometimes like where we are now, Charlotte has Bermuda grass, and it's all like thicker grass and like tight and short, whereas up there it's like longer grass. It actually feels nicer. Where else did we fly? Flew to Memphis twice. Flew to Florida. That was really nice.
Really? Yeah.
Florida was really good.
Just tell me about that trip.
Florida was a nice area, but we lost, so it wasn't ideal. It wasn't the best weekend for any of us now. We can put that behind us and maybe not mention that. But it was a lovely area though.
Okay.
Really, really nice area.
And you got to go to the beach the next day?
Yeah, we got to go to the beach after the game. Now, maybe the mood was a bit low the next day, but it was still nice to go to the beach.
Well, was it more of like a recovery type of thing?
Yeah, a small bit. It was like we kind of just got to relax for a few hours before getting on a plane again.
Okay, nice one. Nice. Okay, so then you started your academics at UNC Charlotte. Did you know when you started what you wanted to study?
No, I didn't know a huge amount. So, like at the moment, I'm hoping to do accounting, economics, or just do like regular business.
Okay.
But it's different to the college system at home.
Okay.
So for argument's sake, I started college doing commerce, and then I was doing like straight business classes from the start. So you have no Gen Ed classes in Ireland. So you have no like general education classes.
Yeah.
So you never have like if you're doing business, you'll never have an English class. Or you'll never have a writing class or I don't know, theatre or something along those lines.
Right.
But over here, I suppose it gives it's like a different ball game where you can have different classes and learn about different things and see what suits you more. Like you have until you're in UNC Charlotte anyway. You have until you're the end of your sophomore year to decide what suits.
Yeah, I think that'd be the general thing across the different colleges. What do you think of that? Do you think it's...
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I definitely think it's good because I know at home people maybe take a year out or do a PLC course or something along those lines. But at least it gives you a year in college to experience the whole lifestyle of it first of all and see do you like being there and is it for you, and then you decide, okay, if it is for you, what degree is for me like.
Brilliant, yeah, because I know a few people that would have started in Ireland, got as far as their second year, wanted to change their degree and then have to start all over again. But the great thing here is you might only need to take a couple of more classes and then you can still kind of stay on track to graduate on time.
Like even one of my best mates now started off in college in Galway, and he's just decided, okay, it's not for me after first year, I'm going to go back into a trade now. Okay. And that suited him sort of way. That's at least he knows now.
Yeah,
give him the opportunity to experience it and see what suits.
Brilliant. Yeah. So then setting your schedule then. So how did that look like when you got to Charlotte? In terms
the schedule was heavy, busy enough anyway. You haven't got much time, which I think was good at the start because it gives you enough time. You're not feeling homesick or any of that stuff at the start. Okay. We were up early. We used to train in the mornings. There's no class at the start, so we didn't train. We didn't have. We didn't have classes really.
For pre-season.
So it was grand for pre-season.
Okay.
So we were in a hotel for pre-season, and then it was like a whole controlled pre-season, which was good. It let everyone like bond together and stuff, which was really nice. What do we do? We train in the mornings. Come home, get some food, come back to the hotel. Get some food, then maybe nap for an hour or two, and then go back training again in the afternoon.
Okay. Yes, intense.
Yeah,
it is intense. Yeah, the 2 days during pre-season.
Yeah. It's fine though when if you have a heavy session in the morning, then the coach is always tailored to say, okay, we won't go as heavy in the afternoon.
Brilliant.
It's never going to be like a flogged running session and then straight after another flogged running session. It's never going to be that.
Brilliant. So then after pre-season, then did you have a meeting with your academic advisor to choose your classes?
Yeah, so what we did here is they actually chose the classes for us, first of
Okay.
all. And they gave us, so we have to have a minimum of, I think, 12 hours or 9 hours.
Okay.
So they booked in our classes. They booked in classes that suited around our training times.
Okay.
So we usually train in the afternoon time now, like in season.
Okay.
And then they put classes on in the morning for us. So then we met with our advisors and said, okay, what degree do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
How can we work towards this? Like, what prerequisites do you have to have?
Okay.
And then we did those. We sorted that out. So I needed, for business degree, I needed to have stats class. So
Okay.
I did my stats class, and then
How'd you find that?
we'll see about that. It'll be all right, hopefully.
What, think you'll get your result in a few weeks, probably?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, a few weeks.
Probably before Christmas, anyways.
Okay. And how did you find that then in terms of balancing the academics and the soccer side of it compared to what you've done the year before?
It was definitely easier in Ireland to balance.
Okay.
Because if you're flying somewhere, you can at least give your travel letter to your. So we got a travel letter at the start of the season based out on every game based on every away trip we had and every time we were playing a game, and you give that to your professors.
Okay.
So then they know if you're not in class, this is why you're not here. And especially they give you chances as well. Like if you can say to them, okay, I'm not going to be here this day. If you just communicate with them, I'm not going to be here this day. 9 times out of 10, they're nice about it, and they'll just go, okay, you can work your assignment the next day and get it done.
So you explained your living situation there.
Yeah.
So what was it like in terms of food for the year? What were you?
Food.
Yeah.
So in our kind of campus, you can either buy like a food plan.
Okay.
So you might put your money into like a student ID, and you can go to the canteen then and you get your food every day or whatever you want to do. But
Okay.
I don't mind cooking for myself, so
Okay.
I was cooking a good bit myself. So probably a lot of chicken and pasta made throughout the year. Just the basic stuff, just chicken, pasta. I don't know what else I'd make. A lot of eggs, toast. Really, to be honest, that's about it. Just your basics, but it does the job.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it keeps you healthy. Once you're not eating rubbish every day and ordering the same
Mhm.
takeaways every day, then you're fine.
And what would the food look like then on away days?
Away days. We kind of usually went for an Italian
Okay.
maybe the night before a game or 2 nights before the game.
Okay.
So that was good. That was definitely good. So you're not eating just like plain bowls of pasta.
Yeah,
bowls of
it's
pasta.
not
So at least it's a bit of they give us something nice to eat sometimes.
Okay.
But it's all like you have like maybe chicken, pasta. You might have some lasagna sometimes. Something decent the night before a game anyway.
Okay.
For me personally, I wouldn't be a huge eater the day of a game.
Really?
So I'd eat a lot of my food the night before.
Okay.
So I might have a big plate dinner the night before, but then in the morning I'll just have breakfast and maybe a sandwich around lunchtime, and that's it.
So you joined Charlotte in pre-season. So how
Yeah.
did the rest of the season go for you?
Yeah, so it went pretty well. We ended up winning the American Conference.
Okay. So
Which is
you
good.
brought the trophy here.
So I'll show it in the camera.
So talk me through that. So when did you get that?
We got that after the game.
Okay.
After the game of the final, we just won 1-0 in overtime,
Brilliant.
which was crazy. It was like, oh my god, it was just like such a relief. The ball was just, I remember just seeing the ball fly over the top, and I just see Brigham run in. I was like, okay, there's no way he's gonna miss. There's no way. And if he did, I think a few of us would have killed him.
And you were saying as well, you didn't even know it was golden
Yeah,
goal.
so like in the moment, I just really completely forgot it was golden goal. So I just started like, I went to celebrate Brigham, and then I was like, oh wait, I have to run back here, and then I went, never mind, I don't. I just ran straight with him.
And so that was, talk me through it then. So this was you go through the regular season.
Yeah.
So explain how that works to get to the point where you won.
So the regular season is about, you play every team in your conference once. So
Okay.
you might have, I don't know, 4 away games and four home games, just for argument's sake.
Okay.
And then you have the regular season champions, which this season was Memphis. And then the top, they get a bye into semi-final, and second place get a bye into semi-final.
Okay.
And then the next 4 teams play it out together, and to see who qualifies for the semi-finals then.
Okay.
And then the team that comes first hosts the tournament. This year, obviously Memphis won the regular season, so they hosted it this year. So we played Memphis, and we played USF, and they came second, so we played them in the semi-final.
Okay.
And we beat them 2-1.
Okay.
I think it was 2-1, yeah.
Okay.
And then played them, and then played the final a few days after and won.
Okay. And you started in the final?
Yeah.
So how did that feel then going from...
Oh, it was class.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole like full circle moment. You've ended up coming over, and it's like you've gone through it all. You're like, okay, maybe it won't work, whatever. And then you end up getting there in the end. It was like such relief. It was like such a good feeling.
How many were there at the final?
Not a huge amount because
Okay.
of ourselves and FIU
Oh,
in
right.
Memphis.
Okay. Say if it was Memphis, it would have been a bigger.
If it was Memphis, it would have
Yeah.
been a huge crowd, I'd say,
Yeah.
but not a huge amount because it was ourselves and FIU, and that was. I think it would have been nice if it was in either FIU or
Yeah.
in Charlotte, where you would have had a
Right.
big home crowd, but we wanted this. The main thing.
And then, so after you won that, you go on to play.
We went on to play NC State in the first round
Okay.
of the NCAA tournament.
Okay. So, and that was at their place.
That was at Raleigh, yeah.
Okay. And what did you think of that game?
It was a tough game. Like we kind of, I don't know, we could I think we could have played better, but I mean it's very easy to say that when you're looking from the outside. Like
Yeah.
we lost in overtime. We lost in overtime to a header. Not a huge amount we could have done better. We tried our best. You can fault no one for effort in that game.
Yeah.
Like Fofana came on in the last 5 minutes, scored a goal to draw it up. It was just like, oh my god, it was like such a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
We went 1-0 down, say 10 minutes to go. Fofana comes on, like the last person I expected to score a goal, and then he comes on and gets a goal, and you're just like, oh my god. And then of course we were unlucky to lose, but it was some experience. Like it was a big crowd because we're actually not that far from NC State here, really, in Charlotte. So the big crowd there, and it was just disappointing to lose in front of them, but kind of makes you hungry for the future and like what bigger games can be in the future. Then your ultimate aim is to go back there and win again, like
Yeah.
and win it all, really.
Yeah, brilliant. So looking ahead at the future, then, are you a person that kind of set goals? Are you?
Yeah.
Do you have any that you want to share?
I had a few. Like my goal was to win the championship this year, the American Conference.
Okay.
So that was a tick the
Right.
box this year, anyways. I kind of usually set like short-term goals. So I want to play like as an individual level. I want to play this amount of games, whatever it was.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but I have them wrote down somewhere. You want to play? I don't know. I want to play this many minutes. I want to try this, do this every game. So like I wanted to win. One of my goals was I wanted to win maybe 5 tackles a game.
Okay.
So I just tested after every game and see what I could do and how that worked, or I wanted to play 10 forward passes in a game. I'd try count my passes and that sort of stuff.
Brilliant. Okay, so moving on to the spring semester then, and then next summer. Do you know yet? I know it's a bit ahead, but do you know yet if you want to spend the summer at home or if you want to try play out here?
I'm not 100% sure yet.
Okay.
In between the two, like it's still a good option to try and play in the USL over here in the summer.
Okay.
But I'll see. I'd say I'll go home for Christmas now and then decide when the last few days of my family what I'm going to do, because I won't be going home then for a good while then.
So you're going home for Christmas, so when are you flying out?
I'm flying out on the 9th of December, which is what, Monday, tomorrow. And then coming back at the start of January.
Okay, nice ones. Just nearly a month.
Nearly a month, yeah.
Yeah, okay, nice. Do you have any plans for while you're home?
Not really. Probably just work for a while and see my family and friends and stuff. It'd be nice to see them because they're all doing their own things and stuff. It'd be nice to catch up with them again for a while.
Nice one.
It's probably the longest time I haven't seen my family
Yeah,
ever, really.
So what's it been?
3.5 months.
3.5 months.
3.5 months, yeah.
So moving forward then, in terms of once you graduate college,
Yeah.
do you know now what you want to do or what you want to try to achieve?
Yeah, so I want to try and get drafted and be a professional. Like
Okay.
I think along with a lot of other people in college, but I think here in Charlotte there's almost a track record of people getting drafted over the last few years. Like you saw, even Tory last year got drafted to Orlando and he had a really good year. So it's definitely possible. And you see when you're playing with these guys every week, the standard, there probably isn't that much of a gap in the standard. So I think it's easier to make that jump when you're at somewhere really good, and then you can just it might take a little while to adjust, but you're used to it. Like you're used to training with people playing at that level and learning from them all the time. So I think I want to get drafted. It's definitely one, but I'd like to play maybe the MLS, the USL as well, especially for a while anyways.
Okay. Brilliant.
And then I don't know, maybe after football, maybe I'd like to use my degree and maybe start a business or something like that.
Brilliant. Daire, thanks for joining us today. I know you're flying home tomorrow, so safe flight home and enjoy Christmas with your family.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Grand.
Appreciate that.
No
Thank
problem
you.
at all.